Hello, welcome to On My Mind, the podcast featuring yours truly, Michael Martinez. I don't have any script written out or anything, so keep up with me here. It is like 7:30 p.m. on a Thursday, and the Thursday before this episode is supposed to go up. And yeah, I mean, I'm here. I'm unscripted. I'm going to be alone this episode. Not going to have any guests, unfortunately. But you know what? These episodes are pretty cool too because I think these episodes are the ones that live up to the title the most. You'll hear me say that a lot of times. But yeah, so anyway, last week I had four guests on the show. We had Andrew, Maya, Vilma, and Ricky. They all joined me to play some fun interview games. It was really fun. We basically it's a card game called Fun Employed, um, and and the whole gist is that like everyone gets four like qualifications except one person. That person gets a job card, and they're the ones hiring. So the whole premise is that we go around the room and you're supposed to like sell yourself, right? Like, why should I hire you as a therapist was one of the cards we drew. And, based on like the random four cards you get, you're supposed to come up with something. I mean, we had a lot of fun. It was a blast. So check that episode out if you haven't already. This week, like I mentioned, it's going to be a solo episode. I don't have anything planned for the day. But you know what? We're here. I have my phone out in front of me. I don't know why I have the podcast document like out. See, I have like a master document. It's like 20 something pages now. Where I write out all my scripts, I write out all my outlines, and I basically like it truly is a master document. It has everything on there. At the very top, there's like links to everything that I need in terms of the show, as in like the link to the YouTube channel, the Anchor page, the Spotify page, the Apple Podcast, like everything. But you could find all those links down in the description below. Hi. So yeah, if you're new here, interesting to start on episode 24. See, most people go to like episode 1, but the cool thing is that these podcast episodes they have no sequential order. It's all just like a bunch of, random stuff. We jump around a lot, and there's never really like an order to things. Like you could watch episode 24 and then you could go to watch episode 3 if you'd want. I mean, there's really no one stopping you. But yeah, that's kind of like the structure of the show. I like it that way though. I was thinking about doing like maybe little mini series where like it probably wouldn't be released once a week. It might be kind of like for example, if I did like a 3 episode series, it would pretty much be like part 1, part 2, and part 3 all in the same week. I will like that would be how I like do it. So for example, like let's say the first episode goes on Saturday, the second one comes out on like Tuesday, and then you get the next one on Thursday. I don't know, something weird like that. And as for like what those series could entail, I have no idea, but that's just an idea. And yeah, if you guys are kind of interested in that, I'd love to do like deep dives into just like random topics. Like, I don't know. Back in my early days, I did a whole episode like dedicated to the Mandela effect, where I pretty much explored like I went hard on the research. I was Googling so hardcore. Um, it was a fun time though. Like I learned so much, and it was really cool to kind of like explain it all to you guys. And I had a fun time with that. And I would love to, be myself, as in I'm a nerd and I love doing a lot of research on my own. I haven't really been doing that lately just because school has been taking up most of my time. Um, yeah, and I'm so ready for the summer. It's coming in like 2 weeks for me. So that's wow. Just saying that's like, whoa, I know those 2 weeks are flying by. But yeah, so for this episode, I did send out something on the podcast Instagram. It was a story. It's basically saying I'm going to be recording a solo episode this week, and then there's a question box, for a Q&A segment, and I got some responses, which is pretty nice. And yeah, so I was kind of just hoping on going through them. I know people like I don't know, it's kind of divided. Like I've heard people say they enjoy the longer, kind of just unedited episodes, and then some people are like, nah, I really like them short and just, to the point kind of thing. But I'm hoping to give you guys somewhere in the middle. Maybe like we'll aim for 40 minutes, and then we'll see how we are there. So strap in. I hope you guys' day is going very well, and if it isn't, I hope I can make it better. So from a Q&A segment to whatever pops up naturally, I present to you on my mind. Let's just jump right into it. Yeah. Okay. So like I said, on Instagram, by the way, you should follow me on Instagram, at OMM the podcast. There I pretty much, I'm doing posts now, like on the weekly, where every week, every time we have a new episode, I'll make a post, like a dedicated post, instead of stories. And I just feel like that drives in more engagement. And also it gives you a bit more, also kind of building like kind of like a gallery almost, for the podcast Instagram. I've only been doing that for the past 4 episodes, and this one isn't going to be any different. So yeah. Except I don't really know what I'd post for this one, because the previous 3 episodes, believe it or not, had guests. Wait, did they? Yeah. Whoa, that's crazy. No, just kidding. I did episode 21, You're Amazing, on my own. And then, okay, 3 out of the 4 previous episodes had guests. That's pretty wild. So, as you could tell, I kind of went through them very quickly, and now I don't have any more guests planned. I do have one planned next week. I haven't, sorted out all the details, but, just a little bit behind the scenes. I am trying to get a professor at Bowdoin. I'm not going to say who. I feel like if you think about it and you've heard, at least 5 episodes of the show, you can probably figure out who I'm talking about. But that's all I'm going to say about that. So next week, I'm hoping to get them onto the show, and we'll see. I mean, it'll be a fun interview. I'll probably do another thing on Instagram saying, what questions do you have for a professor in this field? I'm not going to say what, until I get everything confirmed. But yeah, so you should definitely follow the Instagram if you guys are interested in participating. Feel free to ask questions. And yeah, I mean, I totally appreciate your guys' help in planning these episodes. I mean, today you guys came through with some questions for the Q&A, and it's pretty amazing. So right now I only have 5 questions on the as like responses, and if any of them, or if any more come up after this episode is already recorded, I think what'll happen is I'll just respond to them on the Instagram, instead of including them in the episode, because they didn't make the cut. But yeah, today's been a fun day, and I'm in such a great mood. I'm just gonna dive deep into these questions. Well, maybe not too deep. Okay. It's so weird. I usually have people to bank off of, but when you're on your own, all of these jokes fall flat sometimes, and there's just no recovery. So anyway, first question comes. Okay. So the first question is favorite class. Very simple, straight to the point. I love it. I think this is a pretty easy, no-brainer question for me. My answer would be English composition. It's a writing class where, I think the main focus is to, improve your writing, and you get to learn a lot of grammatical skills. You get to learn a lot of rhetorical skills, and just different ways to improve your writing, make it more creative, make it more yourself. And I really love this class. It was, there's only, I believe, 9 or 10 students in that class. And so it was very easy to get involved in discussions instead of, something like a lecture. Oh yeah, this class was very discussion based. Every time we would meet up, we'd do like grammar lessons, or we would have class discussions about our writing and, just our assignments and stuff. And it was really cool to kind of work on the assignments for this class because they were also different, and they all allowed me to really like express myself in my writing. And it was such a fun class. I mean, the last episode, the guests who were on the last episode, they were from my English composition class. And yeah, it's super fun. It's like it. I guess the whole point was to break away from the whole 5 paragraph essay that they teach you in high school and middle school and elementary school. It's what they've been like drilling into your minds for the past however many years, and now it's just you get to college and you're like, oh, like the essay works, but you can do so much more. And it's just, you can, I just like the fact that I had the opportunity to take this class. It was a second choice actually. I forgot what the first choice was, because I mean, this class was just that good. The professor also made it really cool too. So, it's just a lot of variables, and yeah, I just absolutely love that class. So much fun. Um, I mean, I feel like I bring this up all the time, but we had to argue that birds aren't real. Well, at least half the class, they split up half the class. One half was supposed to argue that birds are real, and then the other one, birds aren't real. And that c- debate got very, very aggressive. Very, like, it escalated pretty quickly. Um, yeah, it was really fun. It was like my very first, like, I don't even know how to say this. It was it was like my first time doing an actual speech and debate kind of style debate. It's not just like a class like Socratic seminar, just jump in when you want kind of discussion. It was like, no, like, all right, you have a dedicated 2 minutes to speak your mind. And we had to like have notes and be prepared and all that fun stuff. And then we had the other team go for their 2 minutes, one person at a time, and then we had the rebuttal, or I forgot what it was called, but it's pretty much where those two people who talked got to go head to head in like a, classic debate, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, so I think that would be my favorite class, and then my other classes, just for context, is Intro to Astronomy, data structures, which is a computer science class, and then integral calculus. And calculus is interesting. Who am I kidding? I don't know, man. So back in high school, I really loved math. Like, math was genuinely my favorite subject, and it was just, I don't know what it was. I think it was just, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure it was just the teachers that made it so much fun. Um, and I don't know, cause like I come, and it's not like the professors here don't make it fun. It's just that it's kind of hard when the material is hard to have fun. You know what I mean? I think there was like a pretty high jump in like the level curve. And then I think also I just don't have enough time to like really dedicate myself to, study and like really learn and absorb the material. And I think one of my best methods of learning is to teach, and I didn't really get that opportunity in this class. And so, in high school, like, I'd always help out my groups because they would pair us, or not pair us, but they would put us into like groups of 3 or 4, and we would work together on all the problems that we were given in class. But here in this class, it was more of like a lecture where it's like, I'm going to throw you a bunch of notes and examples, and we're going to work through them, and then you leave the class. And it was never like, I like, you get to, all right, work with the person sitting next to you kind of thing. Like, that's what I like more. And I've kind of realized that that's really how I best learn. Um, and it's not to say that like I'm doing so bad in that class because the style's not that way. I feel like I can kind of adapt to any teaching style. It's just obviously some of them are a lot more beneficial for me compared to others. And the whole lecture and just copying down my notes kind of style, which is like not only is my integral calculus class that way, my astronomy class is also that way. Um, and I kind of have a feeling a lot of the science and math classes are like that, but I guess the one thing that separates computer science is that it's more of like doing instead of just taking notes. Like you're actually programming, you're actually coding, and yeah, I had to turn. Oh man, I'm getting all the trauma back. It's all coming back to me. The last lab that we had to do for computer science was terrible. Um, Okay, it wasn't terrible. It was too much for me. I couldn't figure it out. I was working with a lab partner. We couldn't figure it out. They gave us 2 weeks and like a weekend plus. It wasn't supposed to be that way, but they gave the whole class an extension, and that still wasn't enough time for me to really finish the project, and I wasn't even close to finishing the project. It recursion. Any of you who like know what that means, I feel like you know what I'm talking about. It's hard, man. um, I was feeling so defeated that day when I had to just like me and my lab partner were just like, you know what, submit. It's like we were that like down. It was pretty bad. But no, this next one, which is the final lab we're doing, we're supposed to simulate natural selection, which is pretty freaking cool. And it's a fun little thing. Like we get to create and design like our own species, and then we're gonna have a tournament where we compete against everyone else in the class, and so they're gonna throw all of our like unique and like all the unique species that we designed into like a world, and then survival of the fittest. I don't know. It's like really cool, and I've actually been making a lot of good progress on that so far. Uh, but I'm just hoping it stays that way. Staying ahead of the curve instead of falling behind like I did last lab. Yeah. So that was a fun time. The Darwin lab, that's what it's called, not the lexicon. Okay, so for the lexicon lab, I don't know if any of you care, but uh, that was a weird noise. What we had to do was we pretty much, so I guess I should say a lexicon is, it's kind of like a dictionary, except it's only the words. So think of it just like a huge list of words. Usually it means like in the context of someone's vocabulary, you would say that like the words they use is their lexicon. Um, and yeah, I mean, I don't really, there's not much else to that. And so we were supposed to create a lexicon um, based on words that were given to us, and the way we had to like do it was by doing a tree. And now that like I'm explaining it, I'm realizing how complicated it is. So the point is we had to use a tree, which in computer science is like it's like a bubble map. Do you guys remember that from elementary school? Like bubble maps or bubble maps where you had like, no, what what am I, a tree map? Oh, is that why it was called a tree map? Yo. No, I just had, yeah, bubble maps. What was a bubble map? Wasn't it a, oh my god, I just got so much nostalgia right now. So bubble maps, what were they? It was like one circle in the middle, and then it had like a bunch of sticks connecting to other bubbles that were about that central bubble, right? So it's like if in the middle I had Michael. Oh, that could go so wrong. I'm gonna stop there. Um, yes, okay. So if I had like cars, and then you would have like Toyota and like Ford and like Ferrari and all these other different cars, right? Inside, or like it's kind of like connected to the bubble. And then you had double bubble maps, which is like you had two different things, and then anything that they shared, like some bubbles that they shared was, similar, and then everything else is like different. Man. So a tree map. Yeah, so it's pretty much like a tree map where it's like you have one thing and then it connects to a different thing. And then that, like, it's a lot. Point is, it's a lot. I can't even. I'm so over it already. I don't even want to explain it honestly. But it was like a really cool and interesting lab. I just couldn't figure it out. Um, yeah, I don't know. I've only had, I believe, like two or three moments where these computer science classes had me like that, where I just couldn't do it. I don't know. And then a lot of the times though, it's like, oh yeah, yeah, no, I get this. And then even if it might take like the grind, I get it done. And then it's like, yeah, um, I don't know, man. Computer science it's very time consuming, but to me, it's so rewarding when you do get it, and when you don't, it's like really like I don't know. It's a very deep low compared or in contrast to like that really high high when you do figure things out. Um, but yeah, I the question was, what's your favorite class? Simple answer, too long, didn't listen. My favorite class is English composition. Um, well, I for real spent like 15 minutes talking about that. Welcome to On My Mind, the podcast where I could ramble on and 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 on forever. I honestly, I feel like I probably could. The only thing holding me back would probably be, the constraints of my voice and when it starts to die out on me. And I guess speaking of voice dying out on you, drink water, stay hydrated. Summer's coming around, so that's exciting. Make sure to keep yourself hydrated as you spend your days out in the sun. Yeah, I'm gonna take a sip of water. Excuse me. All right. So the next question. Oh, you're so funny, Melanie. Why you so cute? I think that would be a question for my girlfriend, not for me. I don't know why this was sent to me. Um, yeah. Next question. Summer plans. Okay. There's a lot to unpack here. Because again, I don't know. There's been a lot going on in like behind the scenes, and by behind the scenes I mean just in my like personal life, right? um but basically, in the most like vague way possible, I plan to spend time with family and friends and Melanie, of course. I plan to work, and I plan to continue doing the show, and then I also plan on being active. Yeah. So let's break that down a little bit. Spending time with family and friends. I mean, I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. I cannot wait to go back home and just hang out with my siblings. I honestly, I went back home for spring break, and I didn't realize how much I miss them. Like just them being them in my life. Um, until I left to freaking college. And like, when I first left, like it didn't really hit me. Like for like when I left to come here for the first semester, like it wasn't really that bad. And then for winter break, I mean, I was only at school for like a month and a half before I went back home. So like, that stretch wasn't really like anything. Um, but then I don't know. It's like, damn, I like my siblings are so cool. What the hell? I don't know. It just kind of makes me happy whenever I'm like on a video call with them, which unfortunately doesn't happen often, just because I'm like so busy, and I don't know, when I do have free time, it's it's honestly like I'm sleepy, taking naps. Naps are important, um, yeah. And so I can't wait to go back home and just to be free for the summer. Um, and so I'm going to explain now why I won't be free during the summer. So I also plan to get a job. Right now I'm currently looking like, okay, so I applied to this It's called the Santa Ana Youth Employment Program. For those of you living in Santa Ana, and like you don't really have anything to do this summer, and you just, maybe you can get paid, get a job. I highly recommend this. It's for people ages 16 to 24, I believe. And then they hook you up with a job. I believe applications. Ooh, I don't know if applications are still rolling. Um, but I'm sorry if they're not. But I mean, there's always next summer. But yeah, so basically, it's just like you get a bunch of different job types. Like for example, the ones I checked were education, IT, and then like an after school program working with children. Because computer science, education, like that's kind of the fields I want to go into. So I figured, you know what, it would be cool to like get some experience in those fields. And yeah, they also have things for like legal study, like if you want to work with like the Santa Ana government, I assume, and like health, and like just customer service, and there's a bunch of different types of jobs. It's a really nice program, and so I applied to this, and I got approved. And so they sent me like a couple of forms saying, all right, orientation is this day, your trainings are this day, please select when you can come. And then I saw the dates and I was like, hey, yo. So the orientation for me was May, I believe 6th. No, May 5th and May 6th, which if you guys are listening to this as like on the day this podcast episode goes up, that was yesterday and the day before. Oh, it was yesterday and air yesterday. I learned that a while back. Air yesterday means the day before yesterday. I see, this is what I mean by like just I do random research on my own. I was expanding my lexicon, all right. Anyway, yeah. I don't know why I felt the need to defend myself. Anyway, whatever. So the point is, I'm still at Bowdoin, and I will be until May 20th. And then the training dates, I would also, so the training dates, you're supposed to train for 3 weeks, 1 day a week for like 2.5 hours or something. And I would miss 2 of the 3 training sessions that I'm supposed to have. So because I won't be in Santa Ana, I don't think I'm eligible for this. But like I got approved. It's just like my semester's not over yet. Like we have finals and stuff coming up, and I got kind of screwed there. But yeah, so I contacted them and I was like, hey, I'm not in Santa Ana right now. I won't be back until May 20th. Can we work something out? And I'm still waiting on a response. So hopefully they say yes. I'm hoping they say that, even like if I started later or like if I attended an online orientation, I could totally do that. Yeah, like I'm willing to be flexible because I think this would be a really cool opportunity that I wouldn't want to miss just because, I had to take a couple of exams. Like that's a kind of a crap reason to miss out on something. The last time I got like a really nice job opportunity where I was like accepted, was so when I was a junior going going into my senior year, I was supposed to do a NASA summer internship with JPL, or the Jet Propulsion Lab, I believe. And because of the like COVID and how it broke out and the whole pandemic and the whole lockdown and everything just shutting down, everything getting canceled. Yeah, so did my internship. And it was going to be like a really awesome experience working, with actual NASA's people, right? And I would have also gotten like $5,000 at the end of it, because it was like a paid internship. And then I got into it. I was so happy. Oh my God, the story with that too. So I had to send like a letter, I had to send my application through a letter. Like, I don't think I applied online, or I forgot. I don't even remember what I had to send through the mail. I'm pretty sure it was my application, like my whole application, or something like that. I had to send something through the mail. And, when I was junior, I was young and I was naive, and I didn't know that the post office closes so early. So my dad came home from work at 4 p.m. and um I think the post office closed at 5, and I had no idea. And so I believe my dad worked overtime or something that day. And so I was like, oh, when my dad gets home, I could be like, yeah, I have something to like turn in or whatever. Um, and so like, my dad, I didn't know he was working overtime too. And so I was just unaware of a lot of things. But my mom asked me, she's like, yeah, do you have everything you need? Like, are you good for the internship? And or in terms of like applying. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I just need to submit this thing through the mail. um and I was just kind of like waiting for my dad, and then my mom's all like, wait, by when do you have to send this? And I'm like, oh, today. And she's like, Michael. And I got so scared. I started panicking, because I really wanted this. I did a whole phone interview. I don't know. It was actually a really interesting experience trying to get this internship. It was me along with like 5 or 6 other people, and I'm pretty sure I was the only one who like got selected. I think there might have been one other person, but I could be wrong. Right. So anyway, like this was all before, or this was all after like this incident. But so damn. So I, sorry, I'm like, I don't know. I just got so emotional. But anyway, so I, at that moment, it like hit me. I was like, you are not getting this internship. And I was so mad at myself because this was entirely my fault. I should have known when the post office closed. I should have been on top of everything, but I wasn't. And so my mom was like, listen, your dad comes home in like 10 minutes, get ready, and like you can go, like, when he comes in, and it's probably going to be closed, but we could still try. And so I was like, okay. So I like scramble, I get ready, I'm like waiting outside, I'm like, all right, like we got to get this thing rolling, like let's move. And we get to the post office, and my dad's all like, it looks like they're closed. And me, I'm like, no, ain't no way. They're not closed, I swear. So then I walk up to the door and I try opening it. It's locked. I'm like, oh my God. My soul crushed. My heart like sank down like 10 feet below earth. My whole, I thought I felt defeated. After this whole lexicon lab that I had to do for data structures, but no, this was probably the worst like feeling I've ever had. It was a mix of like sadness, it was a mix of disappointment, it was a mix of like just anger at myself, and I was just so upset, and like I was just silent the whole ride back home. And I was staring out the window. I was trying so hard not to cry in front of my dad. And I couldn't even hold it in. I started crying, and I mean, I pretty much put him in an uncomfortable situation because here's like a 16, 17-year-old. No, I was like 16. Here's a 16-year-old kid just crying. Damn, that was 3 years ago. What the hell? This pandemic has been going on for too long. But yeah, I mean, things are on the like positive. Wrong choice of words there. Things are going better. Okay, back to the story. So I'm just like so defeated, and then we pull up to like a red light, and my dad starts like getting all like I don't know, just like adrenaline rushed, and he starts like, Michael, and he's like, like tapping my arm. I'm like, what, and I'm just like so depressed, and then he's like, look, and then he points like to his left, like, I mean, he's driving, right? So he points out the window. You won't believe who's like stopped right there next to us. It's the freaking post office, like the freaking car, like the mailman. And then my dad rolls down his window and he's like, hey, I need to send something through the mail. Like, can I give it to you? Like, will it make it on time? And then the post office guy's all like, yeah, no problem. Just hand it over. And then, Oh my god. I literally jumped out of my seat. Like I don't know, I was, my whole life just flipped around. And I give him the application and we send it and then we drive off and my dad's all like, no freaking way that just happened. He's like so happy for me and I'm so happy. And I was just like, oh my god, this did not just happen. And then we go to my mom and then I'm like, mom, you won't believe what just happened. And then we tell her what happened and she's like, oh my god. And yeah, I was just like, well, I just hope like now it's just a waiting game. And then eventually I got the email, congratulations, you've been accepted. And oh dude, I've never, that is probably one of my biggest W's and my biggest L's in life. um because of course, like I said, a couple months later, oh, pandemic broke. Oh, I think this happened all in like January, February, and then the pandemic hit down in March. So I had found out that I got into it, and then they sent me an email about it, and they're like, yeah, our thing is canceled. You could still put on your resume that like you got accepted into this because obviously it's very competitive, and we only choose like 10 students out of like the whole Southern California area. Um, and so it's just like, yeah, I don't think I've ever included that on my resume, but I do talk about it. I think I talked about it like, because I mean, I think a common question is like, how are you affected by the COVID-19, right? And like every time this comes up, I tell this story. Or at least that, I got accepted to a NASA internship that was going to be paid, and I was going to be working alongside real like computer scientists and, really top people, right? And I don't know, man. Like I just my damn. Yeah. I know, okay, like I understand that a lot of people's lives were affected by the pandemic, like in much like more like in drastically worse ways than what happened to me. Um but and like I acknowledge that, but I mean, my condolences to everyone who lost someone in the pandemic. I know my family was hit, but it wasn't like anyone near and dear to my heart. It was like an old aunt that I knew growing up, but didn't really like get to know like on a like very close level. And so it's like I understand that, but I don't know. I guess sometimes as like a teenager, you kind of think that the world revolves around you. I got caught up in the moment, but yeah, uh, that was definitely like. I mean, it's still like a missed opportunity. Like I'm not gonna invalidate that either, but I feel like I don't know why. It's part of me was like, yo, you should probably make that clear. Yeah. But anyway, it's not a competition. Please, no, it's not. Um, yeah, sorry for laughing. Anyway, that wow, yeah, no, that's literally how. Whoa, that like. My life can be such a roller coaster sometimes, and I'm wearing a sweater, and I realize that this. I don't know why I always wear a sweater to this place, and I know that this room gets freaking hot. I am starting to sweat, which is not good. Well, like I don't know what the hell my chair's doing. It's like popping. Sorry. Okay, let's bring it back in. Deep breath. Okay. Yeah. Where was I? I lost the opportunity of that NASA internship, and anyway, I think I was talking about summer plans. So yeah, I plan to work. And I just hope that this. Oh, okay, I remember where I was. I said that, me still not being done with my semester was like it would be a really bad excuse, or not excuse, but like it would be a really bad reason for not participating in this like employment program. Um, and and then I was like, oh well, I've had worse reasons, but yeah, all right. Yeah, so hopefully I plan to do that. Otherwise, I would probably, this has been like my plan B, but to work at like a McDonald's. My aunt is a manager at one, and so I think she told me like, yeah, we can get you a job, and I mean, I just I don't know. I'm kind of iffy about that, but I feel like I also need the money, because it's just, whoa, excuse me, it's just part of like my financial aid package. Like I'm just expected to come up with like $2,000 over the summer, um, and which is, why I need to work. Like it doesn't matter where I'm working. So that's why you should subscribe to On My Mind. Let's get that monetization, boys, and females and everything in between. um, yeah, no, honestly though, like if I could get to the point where this show is monetized, that would be an interesting thing, because then I have to deal with taxes and like I don't know how that all works. But we'll cross that road when we get to it in like 50 years. So yeah, that's part of my summer plans. I also plan to play pickup ultimate frisbee, which basically means anyone can just come and play. It's like a pretty casual, semi-competitive environment. It's like you're obviously playing to win, but it's just for bragging rights. You don't actually like get tallied on all your stats and things like that, like an actual competitive season. But yeah, I think it'll be really fun. I looked in Southern California, like I knew. Okay, I didn't know before I came to college that Southern California was like a really big ultimate frisbee hotspot. So is New England, which is where I'm at right now. So it's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird how life plays out sometimes. It's like, I'm in Maine where they have like a lot of frisbee tournaments and stuff happening locally. And then I go back home and they have a lot of frisbee get togethers, locally. And so it's just like, damn, I'm so lucky I don't live in like Wyoming or something. No shade, no shade. I don't even know if I have listeners in Wyoming, but yeah. Anyway, um, right. So my point being that I'm gonna be I want to play ultimate frisbee over the summer, just so that I can kind of like stay throwing a disc and like hopefully get better and meet some cool people and just have fun over the summer. It's like it can't just be work and then sleep and then play video games all day. It's like I want to get out. Like I want to, I think I took like the summer a little bit too granted. Or wait, I took the summer for granted when I was like at home growing up my whole life, because this is all I knew. And then I come to Maine and I'm like, it is cold, it's raining, it's snowing, you can't go outside, it's terrible day outside, it's super cloudy, it's raining, and I'm just like, damn. But out in California, it's like, sure, it's hot, but I mean, hey, at least it's sunny. Yeah, but sometimes it can be a little bit too hot, and that's not good either. Right. And was there anything else I missed? That's the ultimate frisbee. Probably, definitely gonna work. Spending time with friends, family. Oh, podcast. Yeah. So summer plans for the podcast. I kind of already started, but I'm gonna be going into like an experimental kind of route with the show, where I'll just be testing out like different things and kind of finding my voice in a different sense. Like I feel like I have already found my voice. I've been doing the show for 2 years, and I've kind of already established that, yeah, I could manage a podcast, but now I'm trying to prove to myself, okay, but can I make a really good podcast? And so that's what I'll be experimenting with over the summer. And yeah, just kind of like trying new things, getting more guests from back home. Because I mean, all of my guests so far have been from Bowdoin, except for Melanie and my siblings. Yeah, I think that's it. And so it's like I forgot about that siblings episode. Yeah, you guys should check that episode out too. Marlene is wild. Yeah, Marlene's my little 8-year-old sister. I almost said 7. Damn, she's growing up. Oh my god. Yeah. The point is, check that episode out. I forgot what it's called. Damn, I'm usually good at remembering each of the episodes and like the number and everything, but I'm blanking out right now. Anyway. Yeah, so the podcast, like I said, I have some plans for that. I'm going to be working on like, what's it called? The website that should be up by next fall, or this fall. Wow, it's coming up pretty quickly. I mean, I have 3 months. I should definitely put something together, and also probably gonna do like a rebranding. No, that's such a lie. I'm not gonna rebrand the show. I already did, but just kind of like revamping how I do episodes, in the sense of like, well, first of all, I'm going to be using a completely different mic. I'm not going to have all this professional equipment, which is sad. But however, I did get a free MacBook Pro at my time here at Bowdoin. So definitely going to take advantage of that, and also going to take advantage of the microphone that I bought. I think it's a Blue Yeti X, I believe. Yeah, I mean, I haven't used that microphone since I was home, so I mean, it's a pretty solid microphone. Like, the quality isn't bad, but I don't know. It's the only mic I have at home, unless I go back to the old days where I used my phone to record. Yeah, so that's pretty much gonna be my summer, I think. Just podcasting, and also taking the time to relax. Not doing anything academic is gonna be pretty nice. And I'll get the chance to like really just live life, and you know what, that's what summers are all about. Although, like, if we can carry that into like the school year, that would also be great. And yeah, so, oh, funny, next question is a face reveal. I mean, what do you mean face reveal? I've technically already done a face reveal, but you know what, why don't I take a selfie? Or actually, what if I did a video? Hi, I'm, oh my God, I'm so awkward. I'm currently in the studio. I'm recording. Yeah, so you guys did a lot of Q&A stuff, and I'm answering questions. This episode has been all over the place, but you know what? That's just how it is at On My Mind, the podcast. And you know what? What if I make this the episode, or like the, how I've been making posts for all my episodes? Like, what, my hand is so shaky. Can I put this here? No, that's a bad angle. My point is, check this episode out. It was really fun. I'm probably going to be wrapping up relatively soon. I only have like one question after this, but one of the questions was face reveal. So hi. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Check the episode out. Follow us on Instagram. Well, I mean, you're watching this on Instagram, so subscribe. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Yeah, cool. So you guys will see that on the Instagram, probably on Saturday. Cool. Next question. Any event in history you'd like to visit? Anything at all. It does have to be famous. Sorry, that question was all over the place. Hold on. Any event in history you'd like to visit? Anything at all. It does have to be famous. Okay. Any event in history, anything, and it has to be famous. So wait, that actually reminds me of like an interview question. I think when I was preparing to kind of, wow, that's crazy how things come full circle sometimes. For the NASA internship, my like some of my counselors, like they gave me like a sheet. Well, they gave us, because there was like a lot of people who applied. They gave us like a list of like common interview questions for NASA, and I don't think I have that paper anymore, but that wouldn't be a bad thing to keep now that I think about it. But I don't have it anymore. Yeah, it's basically like, I'm pretty sure one of the questions was similar to that, where it's like, if you could go back in time and like relive, or not relive, but like be at a present, or be, what the hell am I saying? Like, experience a historical event. Like, where would you go? And I'm pretty sure I wrote down that I would want to look at the moon landing, just because, well, I mean, it's funny. I later found out, because I think they asked that question and I said the moon landing. And then later, like a couple weeks in, I was looking online, and like just common like responses to these questions, because they're all over the internet. And then I think it was on Reddit or something, where I think someone like got that exact same question, and they were like, what should I answer for this? Or like, how do I prepare for this question? And then I think all the comments were like, whatever you do, do not say the moon landing. And I was like, oh no, I'm not getting this. And then I ended up getting it. So, Checkmate Reddit. Um, can that be the title of the episode? That's so dumb. um, okay, so yeah. But anyway, I said the moon landing because I think, dude, can you imagine? Like you're sitting in your living room and you have like this box TV and it's like you're watching someone take the first steps on the moon. Like that's just awesome. See, I feel like the signing of the Constitution, which is I don't know why I went there, but like I'm just thinking like I feel like it was a hot room. I think it was like oh shoot, when was the Constitution signed? The Declaration was July 4th. When the hell? Hello? Why am I blank? I feel like I should know this. Sorry, I haven't taken like a U.S. history class since my junior year. When was the Constitution? September. Yeah, September 17th was when the Constitution. Wait. Yeah. It was signed. That's when it was signed. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't know. I feel like it would be. I don't know how I feel about that. Being able to attend like a really big, like just thinking like being there at Martin Luther King's like I Have a Dream speech. Like I feel like it's one thing to kind of hear like these audio recordings and then another thing to like actually be there. I feel like that would be a pretty good one. What else? Oh, that concert that I think was like Queen's final concert. I could be wrong. I don't know. It was like a whole big deal in Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie. But I don't really know the history. I know some like the movie gets a lot of things wrong and some things right. But yeah, what was that? I forgot what that big concert was, but there was like it was a huge thing, a huge fundraiser for AIDS, I believe. Yeah, I don't know when that was, but that would be pretty cool to be at. Because I mean, like, who doesn't want to see a bunch of cool bands perform, right? And we're talking like classics too. Like this is back in the day. What else? Like, okay, my initial answer was the moon landing, and then I listed a bunch of like different like historical events. I'm also trying to think like outside U.S. history, like any events like in other countries. Oh, that led nowhere. Sometimes don't you like ever have those moments where it's like you say something in hopes that it'll lead somewhere and then it doesn't? Welcome to On My Mind, the podcast. I am having trouble remembering. Man, I don't know. I feel like I'm dragging this out way too long. But anyway, that's the moon landing. Dude, I want to see that. If I could be in the rocket ship, that'd be a different experience, yo. Yeah, okay. Well, that's it for questions. If you guys send any more questions, I know I sent this pretty late. Like it was a super last minute decision to do. Like I sent it when I was in the middle of my astronomy class or while I was waiting for my astronomy class to start. Totally not in the middle and not, because I pay attention in class. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna actually wrap it up there. Wow, 5 questions and I spent like 50 minutes talking about them. That's just how we roll, I'm proud of myself. Let's freaking go. Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. I really appreciate all you guys who do. And it's just it's very cool to see like when I have an episode with guests and like I know they had fun and like I know I had fun and then people listen and then I get like positive feedback like, yo, that was a fun episode. It warms my heart very much. And I know I don't have any guests for this episode, so if you like appreciate or like if you know show any like love for the episode, I mean it would just be all me, and you know what, that's sweet. Yeah, so make sure to follow the Instagram at OMM the podcast, and you can also follow us on Twitter. I've been kind of active on there. I need to get back on that. um I don't know. Twitter is just for like new eyes to drag new audiences in. None of the people I know like follow other people on Twitter. But with that being said, this has been on my mind. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week, hopefully with the professor. Yeah. Okay. Bye.